My name is Melissa, and I live in Denver. I have 3 kids. I have a 6-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 13-year-old who remind me every single day how blessed I am to have them. So I'm an event planner. So 2020 happened, and I don't know about you, I was like, is this a joke? Like, it's like worst joke ever. Like somebody's pranking me, my whole business fell apart. Like, I'm an event planner. We did big, large galas and fundraisers where people were sharing food and things called buffets. You remember those where you like shared a spoon and everybody, right? Yeah, that sucked. So I had to completely change my model and change what I was doing. And I spent tons of time not only homeschooling my children, which, yeah, didn't ever see that coming. Don't ever want to do that again. And 2, learning and educating myself how virtual productions work with the event world. So I've learned so many different things. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about staying track on goals. And I'm not perfect. First of all, I'm a hot mess. If you know me, like, you can just go ahead and say, hello, I know. Type that in the chat, Erica. You know I'm a hot mess. So just so you know that these are things that I found experts in their fields that are doing things that are helping me work through issues in my life and ways for me to stay on track with my personal and also business growth. And then also, guys, but I'm on a personal mission. Who wants to know what my personal mission is? Anyone? Okay, me, I want to know. So I am on a mission to end boring Zoom meetings. Can I hear a whoop whoop? Hey, let's go. All right, how many Zoom meetings have we been in? Like 9 million? I'm pretty sure that's what it feels like. So today I'm going to ask you to be a part of team engagement. Will you be a part of team engagement with me today? That means I want you interacting. I want you asking questions. I want you to use your Zoom functions. I want you to chat. I want you to be all the way here, because guess what? When you are having fun, you learn more. Your brain remembers the experience when you're having fun, and you keep the memories. Oh, I'm loving the Zoom reactions. All right, let's go, Austin. I see you. I love it. He has the best brunch in town. Yeah, all right. One day he's gonna have brunch. He does not have brunch. So everybody know about your Zoom reactions? Let's all practice real fast. So at the bottom of your screen, there's Zoom reactions. Everybody put one up there for me. Yeah, you see it? Perfect.
Is it bad I didn't know about this until just now?
No, that's why we're doing this.
It's totally fine. Right, so we have our Zoom reactions up, they go away, do this thing. So I want you to interact with me, okay? All right, who knows how the chat function works? Anybody been to a Zoom meeting with chat? Anybody know? All right, yay, okay. Thanks for the hand raise. I love this. You guys are awesome. So yeah, you can use the chat over on the side. Austin said chat. Let's go, Austin. All right, we got to talk later.
Everybody send them a private message.
Right, and then later we're going to use these things. Does anybody have a phone? Anybody have a smartphone? Anybody have? Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to use these. So these are all the tools we're going to use today, and we're going to have fun. Who's ready to have some fun?
Always.
Me. Okay, I am.
Pick me.
All right, here we go. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Let's see if I can do it with that. Perfect. Coming up.
Also, while she's doing that, just a quick tip for you. If you have yourself on mute and you hit your space bar, it will temporarily unmute you.
Perfect. All right, let me just move everybody's beautiful faces out of the way. I still want to see everybody's faces, but all right. So can everybody see and hear me okay? Somebody can unmute because I can't see the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, let's go. All right, so you've set your goals. Now what? All right, we just came off of January. It's now February. Last month, we talked about our goals and what they look like. We talked about how they're clear. We talked about they're attainable. We talked about how they're measurable and how they're true to their genius. Does anybody know what true to their genius means? Let's go. I told you it's going to be interactive, people. Let's go. We're going to make this fun this morning. Anyone? True to their genius. Anyone want to take any guesses?
True to yourself?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, true to your genius, true to yourself is a great one. But like for me, I'm an event planner. I am not a tech person. So the fact that I got to this meeting this morning, that my computer turned on, that I was able to share my screen is like, oh my gosh, you guys, like, let's go. So I'm not a tech person. So when it came to the virtual space and having to do productions, I first learned and tried to do all these extra things by myself. I try to be a tech producer, all these different technical things that's just not what I do. So I hired a company to come in and work beside me, and what they were good at was all the tech stuff, and what I'm good at is having fun, right? Like obviously you can tell that, right? So we have fun and they do the tech side, and I can be true to my genius. I'm not spending all this extra energy doing things that are just not true to what I do. So those are important pieces. So here we go. Let's go to fit for January. Let me move this. Okay. All right, so January at a glance. Who felt really good? Let me see those Zoom reactions about how you felt in January, right? You got your vision board, you got your plans going, you got your personal goal set. Yeah, we're feeling pretty positive about it. We're energetic. We're taking on the world, right? Like, let's go January 2021. We're gonna make it a better year than 2020. Everybody feels that, right? All right, and here comes February, right? Who has a list over here that says eat less chocolate, but turns out you're still eating the chocolate, right?
Well, it's Valentine's Day, so.
Yeah, right? I know, it's coming. It's like, I think Valentine's Day is just like to test us, because I'm like, wait, there's like chocolate everywhere, right? So here comes February. We're starting to feel the pressure and the weight of all the goals we set, right? So we had all these big things that we wanted to do and take on. And here we are in February. How are we feeling in February? Show me your Zoom reactions. I want to know. I want to see them. Anybody? Oh, yeah, I like it. Yeah, like that. Oh, right. Like, what did I just commit myself to do here? Right. All right. So this is kind of how we're feeling, right? January was a tough year, but we made it through. Yes. I feel really positive about this, right? Are we there yet? Like, how do you do this from January all the way to December? So I have a question for you, and I'm going to have Madison put up a poll. So it's time to interact again. So what percentage of resolutions set in January fail? Okay, so type it in. I want to know what you think. That's right, interactive. We're using our fingers this morning. We're using all kinds of different things.
All right, we have the poll going. We already have 11 people have already answered. We're
Awesome.
at 12. We have a lot of people saying 80%. Some people saying 62%. Some very hopeful people are saying 100%. And a few for 50%. So we have a lot, just variations of answers.
That's awesome. Yay, thank you for interacting with me. See, we're going to have fun. Who is ready? Also, they're like, who's this crazy person talking right now? You're welcome.
Melissa, we had a comment. Did everyone even set goals in January, or are we just hoping to get through the year like 2020?
Hey, I hear that one. I totally hear that one, right? Like 2020 came, we were blindsided and we're like, what is 2021 going to bring? Like, we're still in a pandemic. So if you haven't set goals, I highly suggest that you do, just because the way that you move forward in your business and your personal life is having those things that you can hit. And then this conversation makes a lot more sense once you have those goals to stay on track with them. But you can watch the recording of this after you set goals. Feels great. Okay, so we said 8. So the correct answer is 80%. So 80% of, let me take this off the screen real fast. Okay, 80% of resolutions and goals set in January fail. 80%, you guys, that is a lot. Okay, now here's something that really blew my mind. When do they fail? When do you think they fail? Somebody tell me some of the answers.
I'm January 2nd, so.
All right, yeah, right.
Melissa, David Hurl said his goals were all achieved January 1st. So he's the exception, but I'm going to guess January, the end of January is when we start to already see people falling off.
Right, that's great. Yeah, well, awesome, David. Congratulations. I'm definitely not on that boat, but that's all right. I'm gonna get there. Sorry, I'm like laughing right now. Okay, so the second week in February is when people fail. The second week in February. All right, so Thomas, I need you to do some math for me up in here. Are you still on here? I don't do math also, that's not my genius. So there's 52 weeks minus the 6 weeks. How many weeks is that, people? Let's go. Anyone? Who got it?
What's the question? I'm obviously not good at math, so I'm not going to answer it. Never
So
mind.
Melissa, is that about 8 weeks into the year? Because there's 4 weeks in a month. Wow, that's actually a lot better than what a lot of people are saying in chat. We saw 3 to 5 days. End of January was a very popular answer. So that's actually a lot better than we all thought.
Right. That's awesome. Look at you guys go. You're already killing it, man. You're feeling good, right? So knowing all these things, how do we make our goals sustainable? So how do we get from January to February and throughout the rest of the year? Like, how do we make this happen? So bear with me here. So I've compiled the top 9 ideas to stay on track with your goals. All right, let's see. All right, so the very first one is tracking the small wins. So I love this quote over here that says, track your small wins to motivate big accomplishments. Who knows about the power of tracking your small wins? Does anybody know? There's actually like a whole psychology behind it. Does anybody know it? Anyone?
No, but I have to imagine it's got to do with gratitude.
Absolutely. There is your brain and your body remember positive things. So when you are, is anybody in sales here? Does anybody do sales? Yeah, hi. So you have a sales day and you're hitting the wall again and again and again and again, and people are rejecting you right and left and right and left. How do you feel at the end of the day? Are you feeling like, woo, let's go, right? Or are you feeling like, that's it, I quit, I'm done, it's over, the whole world's ending, right? That's just me, I guess. But it's so important to go back. If you're tracking your small wins on a daily basis, when you're having a bad day, you can go back and look like 2 weeks ago and be like, oh, wait, okay, so today was awful. Like today was the worst day ever. I want to cancel today. But wait, look at what happened 2 weeks ago. Okay, I've made all these progresses. It stayed on track with what I was doing to get to my goals. And so here we are. Now I'm feeling a little bit better, right? So our brains, when we are feeling discouraged and depressed and not good about the progress we're making, we tend to not continue to keep moving forward. But when we are tracking our small wins on a daily basis, we tend to be more enthused and more motivated to keep going forward. So,
hey, Melissa.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Zach. I just wanted to kind of mention, I really like this quite a bit, but I'm sure everyone's seen the video of the Navy SEAL that talks about making your bed every morning and how that's a little small win to start the day off. And that's just kind of what that reminds me of how to like start the day off already with a small win. So
that's awesome. Hey, yay, thank you for interacting with me, Zach. I love it so much.
And Melissa Madison is all about small wins. She says she did that with her financial independence, and starting with the smaller ones was a way to motivate getting things paid off. We also had some feedback from Megan that she likes focusing on the smaller wins so that she doesn't feel overwhelmed. And then Corey said, hey, I woke up, didn't spill any coffee, so today has been the best day of my life.
All right. Best day. I love it.
Can I say something on this?
Yeah.
So to your point, like what you were saying, Melissa, there's been days of discouragement as well, and insurance, whatever. But then what I can do is I'll pull my like if I'm having, I don't know, a bad day in the middle of January or whatever, but then I look at what I did last January, I see the huge progression from last January to this January. Then I don't know, I look at that as a win as well. So that's what I do. So anyways.
That's awesome. Thanks, David, for saying that. I love that. Yeah, tracking it and seeing your progress, it's empowering. It gives you more confidence and makes you keep reaching for the next goals, even though you may have had the worst day ever, right? Who else do you know? What companies, massive companies, track information daily? Anyway, small information. Who knows? Anybody?
King Soopers.
King Soopers. Good. What else? Let's go. What else is there?
You're just talking about tracking data?
Yeah, tracking data. Yeah, small information that comes in all the time.
Anybody on social media, obviously. Anybody on a mobile device, anybody on the internet.
Yeah. Has anybody ever heard of Facebook before? Anybody know that one? How about Google? Have you ever heard of that? Yeah. Oh, yeah. You need to do mine, by the way. But anyways, it's a different story, right? They track your information daily. Little things, everything that you're doing constantly. Why are they tracking your information? Because they want to know what you're doing and how you're doing it and your habits and what's a good day for you, what's a bad day for you. So they're tracking all this information to help build their business. So why should they be the only ones that are tracking the small things, right? So I encourage you to do that. So let's go to the next line here. So tracking small steps involved in your goals is one of the best things to do. Weeks may go by where you feel demotivated, but taking a look at how far you have come can be a huge inspiration. So, all right. You guys are doing awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for engaging. I can't even, I love the chat. There's 24 comments right now. This is feeling really, really great. I love this. So here are ways to track. There's journal and diary. And I had a conversation the other day with somebody that's like, why does the diary got to be a girl's thing, right? Why can't it be a man diary? And I was like, I don't know. That's a great question. So, I mean, you said the diary is not just a girl's thing. Guys can have diary too, but you can have a work diary. And there are studies that show behind the scenes about how it helps you. It can help you when you're having an emotional issue with your work. It helps you separate it. It helps you just kind of put it down and kind of sort through it. And then it also helps you track it. Habit trackers. Does anybody have any habit trackers? Anything that they do as far as that? It can be a very, very simple spreadsheet. Does anybody like spreadsheets in here? Anybody like some spreadsheets? All right. Yeah, Whitney, let's go. She makes some amazing organized outlines and spreadsheets. She's going to teach me all of those things too. Those are things, charts, graphs, you can do it. It's really whatever works for you. And here's the best thing, you guys. We're talking about 5 minutes a day. That is it. 5 minutes. Who has 5 minutes a day? Does anybody scroll Facebook, right, and just get lost? Or how about TikTok? Let's go. TikTok. Anybody like TikTok? Let's go for the TikTok, right? So TikTok, we get lost. We find 5 minutes doing random things all the time. So what if you scheduled 5 minutes at the end of your day to write down the positive things that happened and the small wins you did? I made my bed this morning, right? Right, Zach? Right, there we go. I made my bed. I had coffee.
Absolutely.
I got up. I showed up.
Melissa, we have some great comments here too. We have, it looks like here, Corey said that you make these Zoom meetings fun. Jason's a spreadsheet nerd. Megan uses a journal every night to help keep back on track. And then Erica has a group chat with her besties to help with the accountability aspect.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, and it's so empowering. I love being a part of those groups and shout outs during the day, because it's you get to celebrate other people's win in it. And it just you're like, wow, these people are moving forward. I want to move forward. And then I did something great and you feel good about it. And then people are celebrating you. It just makes it exciting, right? Especially in our world that we're living in, right? Where it's you might have so many different challenges. It's exciting to be a part of it.
Definitely.
So
we
it sounds
have a few more pieces of feedback. Cassie lives by lists, spreadsheets, and tracking everything. David is also spreadsheets, but he doesn't really love them. Libby has accountability buddies, and they're the best in the universe. Madison has a journal, but it's blank. Austin, he's all about spreadsheets with macros and conditional formatting. That's great. And then we see people buying notebooks. This is awesome, y'all.
Yeah, this is awesome. And you guys, you know what? You're so on top of things. Look at this. This is my next slide. How are we going to track things? But you already got it. You're like, what? We're bosses. We got this. We're already on top of it. I love hearing what works for you, because that's the thing, is something that works for Erica may not work for Whitney, and something that works for Whitney may not work for David, right? So yes, I'm using everybody's name. You're welcome. Everybody's sitting up straight wait, is she going to call on me next? You don't know. You're not safe. So just make sure that you're tracking the small wins. It's so empowering. All right, let's go to the next point here. Number 2, tell someone. I don't know about you guys, but this part really makes me super intimidated. I have some real big dreams and goals, and it really intimidates me when I say it or tell somebody. And this last November and December, I sat down with some amazing women, and we did vision boards, and we talked about our dreams and things, and then we presented what was on our vision boards. And I literally got choked up and flustered because I was like, oh my gosh, like what if I say this out loud and then like what if I don't hit it? Like what if I don't make it? Like what is everybody going to think about me? You know what I mean? Like that feeling of like, oh my gosh, it just felt intimidating. However, once I did it, I then felt super supported because we were all on the same page. Everybody kind of knew what it was. They were encouraging. And then since that time, every single day, people are encouraging me to be like, hey, how's it going with this? And what does that look like? And how does this feel like? How are you working towards your goals? So let me go here. So telling someone is putting it out there means it's real, and people can be a huge source of encouragement. So be brave and spread the word. So type in the chat right now. Tell me who you're going to tell. I want to know. Tell me.
I did. I have my group of my besties.
Right?
And every day we do an accountability shout out.
Right. Awesome. Yeah, it's a source of encouragement. I love that because you don't have to do this all alone, right? Like you don't have to be that way. You don't have to try to accomplish it on your own. There's power in a tribe. There's power in friends. And it doesn't have to be a big group of people. Like maybe you're like, I don't like all the peoples, right? And you just have one close person. You're like, listen, I want to tell you something because I want to make it real. And I just need some encouragement because there's going to be some days that I just can't, like, I'm not going to want to do this. So is it okay if I can confide in you? And can I tell you what they are? It's really empowering. Awesome. All right, let me go here. Number 3, get a friend involved. All right, so this looks a little bit different, right? So in January or December, I was sitting down talking about my goals, telling them, putting it out there. Now we're getting somebody actually involved with us. Okay, so I'm taking a friend and they're going to help me. I love this picture here. Like, look at this. Like this is me at the bottom being like, I can't make it, right? So you having that encouragement and that community around you, having that person that can be like, hey, I haven't heard from you. You're being really quiet today. How's everything going for you, right? The number one thing when I get quiet and I stop texting or I stop messaging, there's something up. I'm not doing good. I'm maybe feeling depressed or feeling discouraged about what's going on in my life. Maybe that's just all the issues. I'm feeling pressure. And out of the blue, I get messages during the day like, excuse me, there was no funny gifts coming this way. What's going on today? Right? Like you didn't say anything funny. What's happening? Are you feeling okay? How can I help support you? What's going on in your business? What can I help do personally? Right? So having that person to be connected with is a huge thing. So you're like, well, who could this be, Melissa? Great question. All right.
Melissa, and we have some people sharing that, for their professional goals, they share it with their boss, or, getting a friend involved is great accountability. They tell their best friends their personal goals. There's a lot of people leveraging that. That's so wonderful.
That's awesome. That's so great. That's such an important key, I think, to staying on track because you don't have to do it alone. And realizing that and remembering that, and then being able to trust somebody to let you in or let in into something that's really important to you it helps you daily do that. So who could this be? This can be somebody that is on your inner circle, somebody that you feel comfortable with, that you trust, that maybe you can talk to on a daily or weekly basis, someone that knows your goals and have a clear picture of what you're trying to achieve. So not only what is your goal, but they have real clear definition of what's behind that goal. What does it take to get to that? And then they can actually check in and
get off the chair
and remind you of your goals. Their roles are clearly defined in how to support you, which is so important to have clarity around. Like, look, I'm like, Erica, I need you to help me support me in these goals, right? And then we define what that looks like, right? Like, if you don't hear from me, something's not right.
If you're every 5 minutes.
Yeah, and then she texts me every 5 minutes, right? So those are so important because they need to know, like, what is it that you struggle with, right? Like, what are some things that you have issues with, right? Like, how can I help support you around this? When you hit a wall, what's the best way to support you here? And then the other thing is to bounce ideas off. There's nothing quite as good as having someone to bounce ideas off and discuss problems with. The goal doesn't have to be mutual. Just having a mate to turn to for guidance or advice is a big plus, right? So when I sit down and talk to people, it's not that they all want to be event planners and they all have these big event planner goals, right? But they do have different goals and we can support each other. And then sometimes I just need to get the idea out and just talk about it for a second, right? Like I just need to get it out there. Like, is this a good idea? And just having somebody's feedback helps you like really kind of do those different. So,
Melissa,
all right, so we're feeling pretty
feedback from Cassie about this concept. She goes, also for me, this biggest, oops, I lost it. Hold on. For me, this biggest, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you and then not. Also for me, this biggest part is that they know I need them to lift me up when imposter syndrome creeps in. I think a lot of us might have that actually.
Yeah.
And I start dissing myself. My bestie is the best at this. And I need a good, you know what, kicking sometimes.
Yeah, I know what you were saying there. It's tricky. Okay. Yeah, that's so important because like, especially as young professionals, we have all these other people for generations that have led the way in what different business professionals look like and how they should act and what their businesses should look like. So coming up and showing up every day and trying to like be an expert in your field, sometimes we do have that syndrome with the imposter syndrome, right? Like, so it's real. Like it's awesome to have somebody in your life that you can bounce ideas off with. And the other thing too is like for me, when I'm feeling overwhelmed by a big problem, just being able to say it out loud and break it down makes it less overwhelming, right? And then I'm able to act instead of feel overwhelmed. So here we go. Are you guys ready? I need you to take your phones out, right? Everybody got their phones? This thing called a smartphone. Anybody got one of those? All right. We're going to go to a thing called Facebook, and we want to be your friends. Okay. So Megan, will you please go drop the West Metro Chamber Young Professionals Facebook group on there for me in the chat. And if you would please go there, I want you to join because this is it is a private group, but it's a great place to maybe shout out your wins during the day, or if you're needing support in different ways. Like we want you involved and a part of this. We want to be your friends. We want to support you. We don't have to be alone together. Let's take 2021 by the horns. Let's make it happen. And so I want you to get on there. Who is getting on there right now? Type done once you've done it. And whoever has to accept everybody, you're welcome. In the Facebook group. Let's go. Oh, yeah, I love it. Thank you. Good. Yeah, it's okay. Like, why do we have to keep our wins to ourselves? Why can't we tell people? Do you feel encouraged when David's like, I hit my goals by January 2nd, right? Or maybe it was the opposite reaction. I'm just kidding. Right? Like when you hear people hitting their goals, you're like, okay, all right, it's empowering. Like, all right, they're doing it. I want to do it. I want to help support them. Like, congratulations. Now I want to take the next step, right? So let's be a tribe of supportive people. Like that's what we need in our lives is support. We have so much criticism out there, so much hate. Like, let's be different. Let's change it.
Stephen joined.
So see what you guys, yeah.
Aaron joined.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. So as you guys are continuing to do that, which I appreciate, we're going to talk about next. We're going to talk about rewards. And this one is probably my biggest one that I've struggled with, especially this last year. But it's so important to do this. So who here came through 2020? Did anybody live through 2020? Hey, guess what? Congratulations. Did you show up to a job in 2020? Anyone? Anyone show up anyways? Yeah.
I started my own business in 2020, man. I doubled down.
Let's go, Jason.
Yeah.
Let's go. Nice job. I love it. Yeah. So we are killing it every single day. And you know why? Because we continue to show up every single day, right? That, I mean, sounds like ridiculous, right? Like you're like, yeah, of course, that's my job and I have to show up. You don't have to show up. It is a choice to show up every single day. So you are a boss and you deserve to say that. Like, it's okay to say like, man, I'm killing it right now. Is anybody killing it right now in their work? I want to know. Raise your hands, do an emoji or Zoom reaction, type it in chat, right?
Yes. Crushing it.
Yes. All right. That's great. Awesome. So all work and no play is not sustainable. So it's important to reward yourself and remember those different things. So rewarding yourself in the moment, your brain elicits positive emotions, leading to the realization that your efforts result in a positive reward. So how do you reward yourself? Here's just some suggestions on the side, but it's really different for everybody, right? A reward, sometimes we think about like, I have to go buy something, right? But that's not necessarily true. It's what's something that makes you happy? What is something that you feel good about when you do, right? I'm going to tell you right now, dance party, that's what I did before this call. That's what I'm going to do after this call, right? And put on your favorite music and jam and be like, yeah, I got that call. I signed that client, whatever it is. Right? What are some ways that you guys are rewarding yourself? I want to know. Put it in the chat.
So we have some coming in already. I have Erica. She's throwing a half birthday for her BFFs.
Yeah.
I have Robert. He takes a midday bike break. Steven shooting some hoops. Madison playing records and board games. Austin eating a whole pizza for lunch.
Heck yeah. Let's go, Austin. That's what I'm talking about.
David saying, hey, and not inviting other friends to your friends have B-Day, Erica.
We were level orange.
Megan enjoys a midday walk or Netflix.
Love it. This is awesome. These are so great. See, and I love it because they're all different and personal to you, right? Like what makes me happy or how I reward myself is going to be different than it is for you. So knowing yourself, knowing how you reward yourself is important. And then it's positive. Your brain remembers the positivity behind it. So when you're hitting those small wins and then you reward yourself for those small wins, your brain, when you're going through a harder situation, it reminds you to keep going. It gives you more motivation to move forward. So thank you. You guys are so much fun this morning. I'm so excited. Thank you for everybody joining in the chat. I'm loving getting to know everybody. All right, number 5. We're getting there. Are you guys ready? It is reevaluate your goals. All right, so as you work harder and invest both time and effort, your goals may change. So here we go. We're going to take a look. It's important to take a look at where you're at. Is your plan to reach your goals working? So it's really important to stop and look and evaluate, which is kind of the importance of writing it down or journaling or habit tracking, all those things. Like, is the plan that I set in place, is it working to reach my goals? And to constantly go back and do that. Adjust as needed. It's okay to adjust what might not be working. It's necessary to take stock and reevaluate where you are headed. This will make you feel reinvigorated and allow you to strive on for success. So when you reevaluate and realize like, man, this situation is just not working for me. Like so I'll tell you a quick example here is for me, I have a mentor that helps me go back and look at my progress every couple of weeks. And last week I had a conversation with her and I was like, oh my gosh, this is just not working. And I'm so frustrated. I'm just going to quit. So I'm just canceling everything, right? I'm not dramatic at all. And she looks at it. She's like, okay, well, let's pull out your plan and let's look at your time blocking. This is where I should have known that I shouldn't have trusted her with my time blocking schedule. But okay, so she pulled it out and she's like, okay, well, I see that you canceled like 10 different time blocking things on your calendar last week. Why? Talk to me about this. Like, why was that? And I was like, oh, it's because I didn't want to do them. Like, I just straight up, like, I just didn't want to do it. I just canceled it. It's over. Canceled. And she's like, well, that's the most important part of this is staying on track and readjusting and making sure that you're following that plan, right? So now let's look at what time of day are you doing these time blocking? Is it because you have less energy during the day? Maybe you need to move it down to the morning when you have more energy, right? So looking at all the situation around it and evaluating where you are is so important. And then over here, which is every single day's goal for me, I just want to tell you out loud, is to keep my tiny humans alive. Like, you don't realize how hard that is. Does anybody have tiny humans at home? Anyone?
No, but I'm not bragging.
I'm telling you, they're reckless, man. It has been a job. And I have a teenager. Somehow we got to 13. I'm not sure how, but it did happen. So just want you to know, stay in there, parents, stay in there. So reevaluate your dreams and goals regularly and tweak your business accordingly. All right, so Miss Madison, will you please put up the poll for me, please? We're going to talk about, how often do you reevaluate your goals?
All right, we have some answers coming in. We already have 33% of people have voted. We have a lot of people saying, say what? Question mark. So you can tell that we need to all reevaluate a little bit. We have some guesses for monthly, one for weekly, one for quarterly, but say what is definitely the most popular answer as of now.
That's awesome.
You know, we've got about 5 minutes left, I think.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, love.
Right, Madison? Go ahead.
Okay, so great. Awesome. So yeah, say what? Like, so sometimes we get into this plan and we go moving forward and we do all these great things. But then we forget to go back and make sure that the plan is working. And just like we are humans and we are changing and moving different things, it's okay to go back to your plan and be like, okay, this isn't working. In order for me to get to this goal, I have to tweak it. I have to reevaluate it and make sure it's still working, right? Just because you started a plan in January doesn't mean it's going to be the same way all the way through, right? You have to, circumstances may change, life may change. I don't know, a giant pandemic may happen, right? And you may have to adjust what it is to help you get through it, right? All right, so next one, we're going to talk about commitment. Okay, so commitment to your goal is important. All right, so being fully committed to the process is essential for success. Right, and as we already talked about earlier, I was with my mentor and I was canceling these time blocks, and that wasn't helping me stay committed to the process, right? Because to me, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do all these things today, and then we get to the next day and I'm like, wait, I did those yesterday. Why do I gotta do those today, right? It's constantly understanding the process and then staying committed to it. So taking time to remember why you're doing this will boost commitment and lead to positive outcomes. And then I love this quote up here. Motion is get started. Commitment is what keeps you going. So we start out in January with all this motivation, right? Let's go, let's do it, let's take on the world. But the commitment is what helps you take on the world. Commitment is showing up and doing it every single day and committing to the process. So, and just like, I mean, has anybody ever climbed a 14er before? Hey, anyone done that? Where's all my Colorado people? Are they out there? Yeah, so I've climbed a couple different ones. And I'll tell you, I went my very first time, these people lied to me. They straight up lied to me. They're like, the whole time they said, you're almost there. Does anybody say that? Best not tell me that, right? So when you tell me we're almost there, and it's been 2 hours later, like we're not almost there, right? Like let's be very clear about this. So, but what I loved about it is after I got up to the top, even though I really hated the people I was with at that moment, the hate kind of melted away when I hit the top, because what happens when you're at the top, right? You made it, you feel good about it, even though as much as people lied to you the whole time that you were almost there and you weren't, you still, like, you see this beautiful view and you're like, oh my gosh, like this is incredible up here, right? So if I didn't stay committed to climbing a 14er, as silly as that sounds, right, I would have never experienced that most incredible view. All right, so let's go to this next slide here. All right, so questions to ask yourself about priorities with commitments. How are your commitments reflected in your priorities? Is it bringing you closer, or are they a distraction? What should be modified and what needs to be eliminated altogether? So these are great questions to ask yourself when you're trying to figure out where you're at with your commitment. So have you taken a look at your daily priorities? So your priorities matter, right? So if you have track and you're going to stay on track with your commitment, and then something else taking priority, then it might not go with your goals. Does anybody, how about for you guys? Are you putting some stuff in the chat up there?
Melissa, I do to-do lists every morning and try and keep myself on track to that because I get really distracted and often pulled away in many directions. So it's my home base for the end of the day to make sure I got it all done.
That's awesome. That's so powerful. Writing it down every morning and making sure and track. That's huge, Whitney. I love that.
Jackie, she does a passion planner, which I'm really curious about what a passion planner is. Robert shared, I'm bad at this, room for improvement. Erica, she shared law of attraction planner as a tool.
That's awesome. Love all these things. These are all great, right? So it's just a reminder, like I don't have a perfect way to do it, but there are ways out there, and just a reminder to take a look at where your daily priorities are. All right. Number 7, we're almost there, Erica, I promise. Okay, have a deadline. Here we go. See, Erica was my deadline to remind me to stay on track, right? Because I need that, because I told her, I was like, I'm gonna get excited and I'm gonna forget about time, and all these people have to go to work. So remind me. So she did that, right? So have a deadline. Deadlines directly impact your time and everyone else's. Therefore, they force you to organize your tasks in order of priority so that you're only working on objectives that move you closer to your most meaningful goals. You have to learn how to focus in on your key milestones and just say no to the rest. So when you put a deadline on it, it makes it more serious, more urgent, and it makes it get done, right? Like how many of us have said, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll just wait for the next day. I'm just one of those other days, right? But if you have a deadline and you need it done by tomorrow, you're more likely to show up and get that project done versus being like, do I need to do those admin tasks today? I don't think so, right? So how about you guys? Do you feel like deadlines help you? Type in some things up in chat for me.
Yeah, but I tend to wait until the very last minute anyway.
Right.
I know.
Yeah, deadlines help, but I'm like Erica, usually a couple days prior.
Days, mine's like moments prior.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever.
Robert shares, without a deadline, it never gets done. Procrastination is my strength. I think a lot of us can relate to that, Robert. Megan, definitely deadlines help. I myself live by deadlines and calendars. It's what gets me through and keeps me on track. And Jackie goes, deadlines are crucial. It allows you to stretch you and stay consistent in your activity. Even if you don't hit it at the deadline, you are determined and it will get done. That's a great.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, because sometimes you don't hit the deadline, but then you can go back to what we just talked about reevaluating, right? Like reevaluate, why didn't I hit this deadline? What was around me? What were my distractions? What were my priorities? And then that helps you just tweak things and make sure that you hit what you need to hit. All right, number 8, be realistic. Realistic goals. A goal must represent an objective toward which you are willing to work. A goal can be both high and realistic. You are the only one that can decide just how high your goal should be. I think that's a really important one because it can still be high. That's fine, but it needs to be realistic. And you are the only one that can decide that. I can't decide that for you. You are the only one that knows what your life looks like and what's happening in your work. And are you able to hit this? And how do you hit this? Do you have the right tools in place to do that? So be sure that every goal represents substantial progress. And then this, I love, I heard this the other day and it really resonated with me because I really do. I'm like, I'm going to do anything. I can do anything. But the truth is, just because you can do anything doesn't mean you should do everything, right? Just because I can take on the technology side in my event productions doesn't mean that I should be doing that, right? Like that might not help me stay on track with what I'm doing. Does anybody else feel like that? Sometimes like, I'm going to take on the world and then you're like, wait, that doesn't really work, right? Well, when you're being realistic, it helps you hit your goals, right? So when we're up here and we're like floating in the clouds and like, I'm going to take on everything and I'm going to save the world and I'm going to solve all the world problems. Realism just helps you stay grounded and it helps you reach those goals. So, and it makes it more realistic to reach those goals because it helps you balance out those two. All right, so here we go. Last one. You guys are doing awesome. Thank you guys so much for your engagement today. I love it. I see that there's like 99 chats happening up there. I just love you guys so much. Thank you for being here and supporting. All right, so number nine, here we go, is plan well, right? Going back to my time blocking story. Careful planning is crucial to goal setting. So if time is taken to prepare and visualize the next steps necessary, then success is much more attainable. Taking a half hour on a Sunday evening to plan and strategize will ensure a productive week. Planning and organization will motivate you to stay on track to reach the top. Man, this one last piece has been like such a huge thing to me, where I start my week out. I've set Sunday nights where I don't go out and I don't do anything. And it's a night for me just to kind of reset and look at my week and really kind of grasp what's happening so I know what to prepare for, right? And I'm looking at my time blocking, I'm preparing myself, I know what it is. And those key things help you reach your goals. So let's see. So what systems do you guys use to plan?
Day planner.
Day planner, love it.
I have my Calendly set up to like 4 different online calendars, and I use a planner.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome.
The planner in Excel from Jackie, and online calendar from Cassie. So a lot of overlap. It sounds like we're all leveraging a lot of the same types of tools depending on our industry.
Awesome. Super. That's great. Awesome. I love hearing that. I love hearing what you guys are doing. So, all right, Miss Madison, we've got our last poll. Can you put that up for me, please? All right, I want to know from you guys, out of all the ones that we've talked about today, which one is going to help you moving forward? Maybe it's 1, maybe it's 2. What's something that you're thinking about, like, okay, this is my next one. I want you to, just like we talked about in the beginning, I want you to say it out loud. I want you to tell us, okay? And since we're all now friends and we're going to be Facebook group friends, right? You joined West Young Professionals. We're all going to be friends now. Say it out loud. I want to know. Yeah, I see it. Perfect. I love it. Tracking the small wins, rewarding yourself. These are great, you guys. Awesome. Perfect. I love it. Look at it. You guys are just like rock star engagement. I really appreciate, I feel really proud of you guys being on my engagement team tonight. This is awesome. I love all, these are all great ones. I'm so glad that these are going to help you guys. Tracking the small wins. Nice. I love that. Awesome. Thank you, Madison. You are the best. All right. And last, I promise that's it. I want to tell you, you're doing such a great job with where you are in your life. You're doing an awesome job, man. We need to be each other's cheerleaders. You're showing up, you're staying on track, and you've got this, right? So let's do this together. So thank you guys so much for allowing me to talk forever, but I really am super excited to meet all of you guys and learn what works for you. So thank you.
Does anyone have any additional questions or comments for me, for Melissa?
I have a question. I saw a lot of people in the chat mentioning like a law of attraction planner, passion planner. I don't know if there's one that everyone kind of recommends, or if there's something out there.
Great question. Who has a law of attraction? Who wants to do that one? I don't have one of this.
I have like 18 different planners. So I kind of feel like the resident expert on daily planners and which actually get used and don't. I've done a ton of research. I recommend something that has both daily, weekly, and monthly goals in it. And at the beginning and end of every month, there's like a guide for what you can fill out for what you want to accomplish. The reason that I like the law of attraction is because those times when I might not be consistent, it has no dates on it. So I go in and fill out the dates. So it might be like 3 weeks, but between the times that I've used it, but I can pick it up and be like really successful again. Just use it though.
Great question, Zach.
Jackie, do you want to speak more to the tangibility of the passion planner?
Sure. So I'm a visual person. Things on digital worlds can get lost. So my passion planner like goes everywhere with me. And I say everything I need to do for the day. You can't really see it, but it keeps me accountable and on track, enough to forget an appointment, even though I do use Zoom a lot, and that plugs into my Google Calendar or Gmail, so that keeps me on track as well. But it's just it's daily and weekly, and then like a little short list of like extra things I have to do. So I just keep it everywhere I go.
Thanks for sharing, Jackie.
I love that. That's so cool. I will you put that? Do you have a link to that, Jackie? Because I want to drop it in the chat. Let's be friends. Let's be friends. But thank you guys again. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
I also want to share the erasable pens because they are a game changer. Boom, link dropped.